Hi, welcome to my channel. I am your Inner Light Coach, and I'm grateful you've joined me here today. Let's step together through stories, rituals, and reflections. Thank you for shining your presence here. So today is Thursday Threshold Thoughts, and I sat down and meditated about what to talk about today, and I got kind of like urged to talk about the places we've been, most specifically places I've been. But have you ever stopped and thought about where you've been, the people you've met, the things you've done? Um, so I sat down and I wrote it out, and from the time I was born until the time my parents bought their first house, they lived in two apartments in two different states, and and then from there, I I lived with my parents until I was 18, until I graduated high school, and then I went and moved in with my sister, and we had two apartments that we shared together. One was small, so we got a bigger one, and everything was going well until men showed up. um, so I moved back in my parents' house, and then decided to join the military. So I was in the military for 2 years. Texas, South Korea, California, and then moved back to my parents' house. I ended up with a medical discharge, so kind of had to start all over. Went to my parents' house. That didn't work out, so I moved in with a friend, and until I could save up for my own apartment, and had a cute little mother-in-law's studio apartment that I decorated, and it was a good little time. And then I started dating and got engaged, and I moved in with my fiance and his mother, and then they kicked me out. So I stayed with a friend um, to figure out what I was doing. Well, I was still working, but I didn't really have a lot. I just finished college and started working at a bank, and I did have a lot of Tupperware. I sold Tupperware and it was in storage, and she allowed me to use the Tupperware as payment to stay with her, which was really, really cool. And then, kind of at a crossroads, I decided to move to Florida. My parents had moved to Florida, so I was just going to go visit, go see Florida. And then I had a job waiting for me in New York, and um, after I moved to Florida, I ended up staying in Florida and stayed at my parents' house, and then met up with some cousins that I met for the first time in my life, and ended up staying with them. And then we all bought a property together, and we moved in together, and that was a very interesting situation. And then it didn't work out. Moved back with my parents, but I lived in their little travel trailer in the backyard and decorated it up real cute. Um, until my brother threatened to stab me, so I was like, I'm done with this. I went and got my own apartment. Then the neighbors were harassing me, so I found a new roommate in church, and she turned out to be crazy. So I stayed with a friend until I could figure things out. And while I was staying at my friend's house, she was someone I went to school with. Her house was infested with cockroaches, and all my belongings that I had in her house became infested with cockroaches. So I lost all my belongings. Um, I got a new boyfriend, met him in church, and I moved in with him because he saw the condition I was living in. He turned out to be crazy. So I found my own apartment. He thought he was moving in with me, but that didn't happen, thank goodness. He kind of dropped it, so I stayed there, and the apartment complex was sold. So I moved to a different apartment, but it was the landlord that I was previously renting from was the owner, so it was the same landlord and I really, really adored his, I don't know what she's called, groundskeeper. She was really sweet. The lady who came and collected the rent money. um, so I stayed there for 2001 to 2013. So that was like 12 years. That was it was pretty fun. It was older people living there, so it was interesting. But it was a place they had for me, and since I was single, they figured I would fit in okay. Um, and then I moved into a rental house. They uh, finally sold that apartment complex, and the new landlords were giving me a hard time. So I found a rental house, and that landlord was starting to give me a hard time. So I broke the lease early to go buy my own house. And it was actually my dream home where I lived for 9 years. And then my mother became sick, and so I was debating on moving anyway. So I had a lot of things lined up at that time. I had a trip to Ireland set up. I found out my mother was sick, and I, to sell the house, I felt like I had to be there, and so, but I made it all work. Like I went on my trip. I had a fabulous time in Ireland. In fact, like I started to cry when it was time to leave Ireland. I loved it so much. I sold my house. We had a buyer, and I came. By the time I came, my mother was doing treatment, and I didn't really go to the treatments with her. She didn't want me to, so I bought a house, and that's where I am now, which I've been fixing up because it was vandalized before I moved into it. So I think about all the places that I've lived and all the people that go with it, because I mean, to be honest, this life is all about the people that we meet along the way. And you know, I've learned a lot of lessons, definitely. There's definitely a lot of lessons here. Um, and I could see in some places where I didn't trust my intuition, or I didn't value my value myself enough to um, move in the right place instead of jumping around. There's things that maybe I could have done, but I think everything happened for a reason. Um, everybody that I met uh, definitely taught me something. So you know, it was kind of fun to go through, because I don't think of it on a day-to-day level. I just think where I am, and I try to stay in the present. Um, so it was interesting that I meditated to do this subject today. So where are the places that you've been? Hmm. So thank you for watching. Let's get back to love. God is good. Love and light to all. Until next time, walk gently and shine brightly.